Hey guys, welcome back to Tuesday Talks. I'm Joe,
I'm Jono.
I'm Nate.
and today we're breaking down Pastor Ellis's sermon on healing. He basically gave us a brief synopsis in Luke, where we were learning about Jesus healing people, and we're just going to break right into it. He mentioned that sometimes we get hindered in our search to be healed. What are some things that might hinder us from asking for help or starting that search for healing?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, a lot of the times, and sometimes it is healing. Actually, other times it's like asking for help just in general. But a lot of the times, I'm the type of guy who's like, I need to solve this myself. I need to own this problem, and I need to fix it. But a lot of times, other people will help you with that, and actually makes it go faster, and it's a lot more worth it if you really ask other people for help. But there's this like, I guess it's pride maybe a little bit of, I want to own this myself. I've got to fix it. People have to know that I can do this myself. And so that kind of blocks me a little bit. And it's something I still work on. It's like a muscle I have to keep training. Like, wait, I've spent hours on this one thing that I have to fix. Maybe I should ask other people. Yeah.
Yeah, I relate a lot to that too, but I was thinking a big thing for me is like I don't want to inconvenience somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to have them, take time out of their busy schedule to come help me when, like you said, I can just try harder and maybe eventually I'll fix it or I'll get healed or whatever. But in reality, this person would probably love to help out, love to, do whatever they need to do, and it will be a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
I'm on both your teams here. I would say like I had kidney failure not too long ago, and I didn't know about it for the longest time, and I didn't realize it until my kidney was like blimped up the size of a balloon. And part of it was I would say pride, but it was more pride in the sense that I was scared I'd go to the doctor and they tell me there was literally nothing wrong with me.
Whoa,
So
okay.
like mine would be more anxiety based versus anything else. I felt stupid and kind of weak for even feeling pain or needing help. And so for me it was pride. It was definitely pride, but the anxiety was that I was so like weak and wrong about something being wrong with me that I would go to the doctor and they'd be like, "There's nothing going on here."
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think in all three of these cases, because Ellis talked about like a big reason can be shame. In all three of these cases, it's not that we felt ashamed of it, but we had the fear of shame or the fear of like, what's going to happen if we ask other people up for help? Are they going to look at us and say, "Oh, you're not smart," or "Oh, that's nothing we can do," or something like that? And that's the fear. But a lot of times that's not the case. So it comes back to fear in a way.
Yeah, well, and that's funny because when people ask me for help, I never even think about them. I'm always like, they need help, I'll do it. I'm never like, oh man, they should be ashamed. I'm always this person needs help and I'm going to help them. It doesn't even cross my mind that I would think less of them for it. So it's kind of a weird, it's weird that we're all like, that's our fear. And then when someone else asks us to do something, we're just like, let's do it.
And then I forget about it like a day later. Yeah.
So I guess second question would be a lot of times when we have medical emergencies, and I guess I'll start because I had kidney failure. We avoid the right treatment, or we try to see if there's some other way or something. I guess why would we do that? And I can start on that one because mine was pretty severe. Like I got told that my kidney was failing, and I went to work the next day. I just kind of went about my life. So I guess my brain was like which is really funny. My fear was that they would tell me it's not that bad. And then when they told me, oh, it is bad, my brain went, they're lying. It's not that bad. And that's how I went about it.
Interesting.
And it was from a pride point, which was like, I didn't want anyone to think that I was weak. I didn't want to take off a bunch of time from work because I was scared that they would think I was slacking, which is a really weird mindset to have. But it was definitely just Satan just tricking me into making it so much worse for me because I would put myself through just as much stress as possible the whole time instead of focus on healing.
I get that. No, and honestly, I get that, but I have a different reason, or kind of two, when like something pops up, like maybe something minor, like I've got this weird bump somewhere on my knee or something, which happened to me, and honestly, I saw it and I was like, okay, this needs to be treated. But then I kind of just thought, well, okay, it's not bad, and so I'll just keep living day to day. And it got worse over time, but I was also in the same mindset, okay, it's not bad, I can still live with it. And it was this like numbing long period of it's getting worse, but my mind technically hadn't registered it. And so it just stuck with me, and it got more normal and more normal. And over time, I realized, wow, this is actually really bad. And that's kind of how sin works too, right? You normalize it in your head. It's usual, and then you just keep moving on, expecting it to be the same. When in reality, I could have gotten treatment for something like that, like antibiotics, and have been totally fine. But like the routine of just keeping on and not like just avoiding an issue either out of laziness or I'll get to that later, really gets to me. And so I'll let something go and keep going longer than it needs to be. And it's not good. I need to be more proactive on it.
Yeah. I relate to a lot with what you just said over there, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess a closing question here is going to be, what is it that God does to kind of throw us on track, or do you guys have personal experience with God kind of just grabbing you and kind of almost shaking you to be like, hey, what are you doing? Get back on track on like treatment and getting yourself right or your health right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me personally, I've seen, like, a lot of times when people say, oh, I've been healed by God, they think of, like, oh, it's a miracle. It's something that changed immediately, and everything was good. But for me, I've seen God work in my life to push me, if sin is causing this long overtime where I'm not realizing this pain that gets worse and worse and I still don't realize it, God is doing the exact opposite. He's pushing me back slowly and slowly, saying, hey, you should maybe get into a better routine of like praying every morning, or like going and putting on your calendar to get a health checkup or whatnot. And those are small things and they're good. And over time, you're slowly pushing back up towards being healthy, being healed, and being restored. And in the same way that sin does that, or in the same way that you can be stuck with this medical emergency that you've just normalized in your life, and sin works the exact same way, it's the same process the opposite way. You can use that for your mental health, your physical health, and your faith. And again, don't be afraid to use the resources provided by the church, by like medical grade stuff that allows you to be healed. There's a reason we have it.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about my personal experience,
Yeah.
right? I kind of ignored mine. I went to work, and I did have to tell my job what was up because I was going to have some surgeries. It was supposed to be one real quick, like in and out surgery. Didn't turn into that, but that's like a long story. So honestly, I put off the surgery for as long as I possibly could. And the weirdest thing happened. It was one of the supervisors at my work at Costco, and she was like, hey, you need to go to your treatment. I don't know why you're taking so long. I don't know why you're putting this off, but you need to schedule these and I'll drive you to them because I couldn't drive myself back if I had been put under.
Yep.
And she did. She drove me to all of my treatments, no problem, no questions asked. And it was just kind of a really humbling experience because I'd thought, like, I am going to inconvenience all these people. I can't believe I'm such like an inconvenience. I didn't want to ask for a ride from anyone. And she not only didn't let me ask her for a ride because she told me I'm going to drive you, but then she went the extra mile of like making sure I'm setting up these appointments.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, it was something else. And then for me, that was like my wake up call. I was like, wow, that was God, because he knows that there's no way that I'm going to be able to ask someone on my own. And so he threw someone in my life that was just a supervisor at work. And she was like, I'm going to drive you. You're going to go. You need to be healthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was truly just like God putting me back on track. And my brain was like, okay, well, I guess I do need to get better. And I didn't even have time to think about if I was inconveniencing her because she didn't let me.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, you're not supposed to work alone. It's supposed to be with community. If you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the church is for.
and sometimes, when we're living in sin too, we have friends come alongside us and they're like, yo, this is not all right, dude. You're way off track.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes.
That's what it's needed.
So, yeah, I guess that's just kind of a brief breakdown of the sermon. Thanks, guys, for joining us. If there's any notes that you guys want to add.
Nah, got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
All
thanks,
right.
thanks for watching.
All right, guys, that's pretty much it for Tuesday Talks. Thanks so much for joining us. The full sermon is linked down below. Don't forget, you can always join us on Sundays at 9 a.m. for our classic service or 10:30 for our modern service. And you can also see it online. We live stream it right from this channel. Thanks, guys, and we hope to see you soon.
Take care.